Woo. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night Patriot James Talk Show. We got a special guest in here with us tonight, Mr. Paul Starwood. Starwood. I told you I'd butcher it.
It's all right.
He's a flathead master, and he probably won't say he is, but I've seen his videos and I've seen his fish. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And tonight, our happiness, we're going to be talking a little flathead catfishing. You got a little feedback coming from you. You got another device on?
No,
Do you have YouTube turned on?
Do I got my what turned on?
YouTube.
Actually, I clicked out of it. What about now?
Click out of it?
Yeah, I just scrolled it over. What about now? Is that better?
Yeah, we got a little bit of feedback. We might be able to work through it. If it gets worse, we'll figure out something. Okay. A lot of times if YouTube is running in the background on your phone or your device, you'll get a bad feedback.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully it's better.
But anyway, Paul, thank you for joining us in the show tonight. We got 15 people. Come on, guys and gals. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up. Share this out. We got a lot of great information coming in. Let's give a few shout-outs if you don't mind. We got Big Slim 91. Want to be outdoors. Avid, Mike Irvin. 3+1. 3+1. Who else? Mike Sampson, Country Bull Catfishing. He's got a show right after my show, guys and gals. Dale Hayes, 12 Gauge Catfishing. Mr. Junior Proctor. Mike Lewis. Teradora Arco. Please forgive me if I butchered that name. Mr. David Martin, keeping it real fishing. We got a lot of great people coming in, guys. We appreciate it. We're going to bring you some great information. Now, Paul, you mainly river fish.
Yep, that's about the only thing I fish.
Okay. Well, we're going to poke and prod you a little bit tonight about some of the river fishing and maybe some of the things you use and things you do on a river that we might use in our lakes. I see Lance in here, Ernie Brown. They dragging in here slowly but surely. Yeah, we got feedback bad. It might be. Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from.
You think it's in the garage?
I don't. No, it's feedback through your phone. There's something open in your phone. But anyway, Mr. Gadget, Thomas Little Page, Bullock Experience. Hopefully they can hear it better than I can.
I can hear you just fine, so.
Okay. As long as you can hear me fine. Team What Was Cat's in the house tonight. Now, Justin, Team What Was Cat, you like him. He loves chasing the flatheads. He loves going in after them. He uses the Abu 7000s. And you put a little bit of more drag on them to get them up out of it. But tell us a little bit about your gear, what you use, your line, rod, reels, and stuff like that. We're getting feedback when I talk, so it should be fine while you talk. So take us through your gear, and then we'll go into a little more detail from there.
Okay. My rods, I just use, I got Big Cat Fever. That was my first rod I got, which those are great. And then I started buying some Mad Cats, and they're pretty good rods. I like them both, so I use both of those. And then the reels, I'm using Abu Garcia 7000s. And I just started buying some Penn Fathoms, which I love them. They're just a little more pricey than the Abus. And then my hooks, I'm using Whisker Seeker. That seems to be a pretty good hook. I have a lot better hookup with that hook than my name's mentioned. I was using some other hooks, and I didn't have a real good hookup. And that triple threat seems to be working great.
I hear you. So you use a circle hook mainly for flatheads?
No, I used to use circle hooks, and I use it more of a J. I just set my clicker, let them run with it, and just use it as a J.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Spencer, what's his last name? Crap. You know who I'm talking about? Spencer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses J hooks when he's flathead fishing. A lot of people try to stick with the circle hook, but I'm starting to see more and more of these experienced flathead people use J hooks for a Kell type hook.
Well, honestly, my bites, the way my bites have been going lately, if I was using a circle hook only, I would have never caught any of those fish, because almost every one of them fish would pull drag and then they would come towards me, or they would go sideways. They were never all pulling out. Every one of them fish I caught. So I'm thankful I did have the Whisker Seeker, the triple threat, because I used it as a J. I just wait till I felt him against me and I buried down on him, and it works good. I mean, I use circle hooks when I'm suspending below the boat. I think when you suspend directly below your boat and you crank it up a couple times when you use the circle hook, that way when you fall asleep or something, it's got a good hookup.
Right. It has the time to load up on it.
Yes.
But that triple thread you're talking about now, it's almost kind of like a hybrid circle hook in a way, ain't it?
Yeah, they got the 8/0 and the 10/0, and both of them are great. I even caught all them bigger flatheads on the 8/0, and I've always been weird about smaller hooks, but I mean, the hookup's great. I mean, really, I love them.
What kind of line do you use?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that, and I use some crazy braid. I use 200 test pound line, extreme braid. Okay, now hear me out. I refuse to go to monofilament because I don't like mono. I don't want to use monofilament. And I figure with a 12 strand, 200 pound braid, I fish a lot of rocks and sticks. So if there is a little nick in it, it's being 12 strands, it can take it and I'll still get the fish in. And I'd rather have overkill than underkill. I've had 100 test pound line snapped on me, and people said, well, your line, you might have had a nick in it or this or that. And I just, honestly, it's overkill, but I'm telling you, fish ain't breaking my line. You won't hear that sad story from me.
Then what are you doing about getting hung up? Because you ain't going to break 200 pounds.
Even my friend, one of my good fishing friends, Ernie, he's probably in here. He'll tell you, we get 9 out of 10 of them back. We usually just leave it hung up. When we pull sets, move to the next spot, we go right over it and it comes right out.
Okay. Now you break the hook off.
Well, I would rather, honestly, I mean, I've lost some monstrous fish. I would rather cut my line and just buy new line and re-spool than to ever have a fish break my line again. I've had some that would have been dandies.
Right.
That's just the way I do things. It sounds crazy, but I don't
What's
get
one of the reasons why you don't really like the mono?
I think it has too much stretch for me.
Try one rod with Andy.
I've heard good stuff about Andy Monster. I've heard good stuff.
Yeah, it don't have a lot of stretch. And say I use 30 pound, but I'm a lake fisherman. It don't have a lot of stretch. It don't have hardly any memory. And if it says 30 pound test, you can count on it breaking right at that 30 pound mark. You ain't got to guess because of the stretch and stuff like that.
Okay.
It casts about like a braid. You get that real good. Actually, it'll surprise you. You think it's real stiff feeling. You think this line, it casts like silk. So if you ever decide to try mono again, try the Andy. I think the Andy Monster. I think you'll like it.
Well, the braid I was using starts with an X and it's extreme, and they have a 120 pound test, and that's real nice. I'm a big fan. I'm stuck in my ways.
Yeah,
I'm stuck in my ways, and that's just being
power to you, buddy.
You know.
So tell us a little bit about your boat and how you got it set up, if you don't mind, because a lot of people are looking into getting boats. So tell them a little bit how you got yours set up.
Well, I've had 4 boats, and by far this boat here is it meets all expectations, and it's not a real expensive Sea Arc. I bought it used. It's a Sea Arc River Cat 2060. You can stand on the side of it, jump up and down, and ain't tipping. Nice thing about that boat is it can go in really, really shallow water. I mean, super shallow where you'll hit your boat before you'll hit your prop.
Right.
You can run it up on the bank. A lot of the times, I just got I got rod holders surrounded around it. Smackdown Catfishing, Stacy Gaston.
Yeah.
And rod holders, those are great rod holders. They're you don't have to even drill into your boat. CRC has that
track system.
Yeah. And those work great. I mean, those you ain't breaking them. And I got some T-bars that a friend of mine down in West Virginia welded up on the back down in the mountains, welded them up for me, and we put them on there. And
yeah, I seen them over there. They look good. They kind of offset the way they're mounted. They're kind of offset.
They are.
That really opens up a lot more room for you on your back of your boat.
I like that, so you can get back here and net a fish if you had to.
Yeah.
You know, that it is nice. It's not a full rod rack. It's just T-bars, and it works for me. Go ahead.
That's why I like bringing different people. You have a little bit different way. All of us know how to catch a catfish, but people do different things. And, I kind of want to pick as to why you wanted to do something different. So you explain a little bit why you the heavier line and what hooks you use and why you use those hooks. So let's get into a little bit more. How long have you been chasing the flathead catfish?
Seriously, I've been fishing for them for about 10 years, but really started figuring out them, like being, actually getting better at it within the last few years. Truthfully, I mean, you learn from mistakes, trial and error. Although my first flathead I ever caught, and I read how to catch him on the internet, no one ever taught me. 55 pounds, Belmersville Bridge Road. I'm not even at 2:30 in the morning. My brother-in-law at the time, he said, cut the line. He said, we got a river monster. I said, we're not cutting the line. We're going to get it out of the water, man. And 55 pounds, first flathead ever. And I read it on Google on how to catch one. And I caught it on a float. There you go. One of your floats, but it was a float we got from the local bait shop. I'm kid you not.
There you go. So that ruined you right there. First flathead, 55 pounds.
Scared me. When I got it up to the bank, I ain't gonna lie to you. First flathead ever caught it scared me. I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna get it out of the water? and I had a 12-foot, $30 bank pole. I mean, it was 12 foot. It was beastie. And I had it between my legs, and I was holding on for dear life. And I didn't know what I had on the other line. And when he surfaced, I was like, oh my gosh. And ever since then, it's been over with. I've been fishing for him. So.
Yeah, but it's a love. It's a passion, ain't it?
It is, man. It really is.
Guys and gals, we got a lot of new people, a lot of new channels in here tonight. You know what I say? Share the bait, share the love. Check out their channels and give them a little bit of love if you don't mind. Got a lot of people in here that I think they know you because they said they love the way you got your boat set up. So I assume they've seen your boat on the water or at least watching your videos.
Okay.
So what makes you think that you say your waters don't have the blues, right?
No, we don't have blue cats.
You got channels though, don't you?
The channels. Yeah, good channels.
You catch some good channels there?
Oh, they'll eat hand-sized bluegills.
Oh, I hear you. So
as many as you want.
Before we get too deep into flatheads, because I love channel cats. Even though we no longer have the bigger channel cats in our waters, once the blues and the flatheads got established, the size of the channels has really decreased in our waters. But I still love them. I think that fish right there, size for size, pound for pound, is the hardest fighting of the catfish. He'll fight you to the boat. He'll fight you in the boat. He'll fight you throwing it back out of the boat.
Oh, yeah.
What is some of the bigger channel cats that you've caught in your waters?
Honestly, I got a spot we go to, and it's rocky, and it ain't nothing to catch 10, 12-pound channels all night long. I mean, you'll think you have a flathead taking the float down or taking your rod down. It's a big old channel. And there's one time back before I got real serious about fishing where I caught my 55. I caught a channel cat. Now that I'm a little older and wiser and know, hey, our record channel cats, I think 25 pounds, somewhere around there. I'm not for sure. I caught something probably bigger than that. And it was a channel cat, and I caught it. I ain't going to tell where. But I caught it and I let it go, and I should have took pictures years ago. And it was a record channel cat, and I caught it in our own waters, and I didn't know no better. A matter of fact, I put it back in quick because he wanted to fight me. I mean, harder than the flatheads. He was mean, and he was I don't know. They're fun to fish for.
And they'll wear that brim's tail out.
They will. You'll run out of bluegills fishing for them. I'm not lying. I had to move. I went through 25 bluegills.
Yeah. Oh, they'll kill them. Sometimes they'll just kill them just to kill them, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you least. I know you don't have the blues, but at least you got some good sized channels to put up some fights.
Oh yeah.
You can't get on them flatheads.
Oh yeah.
So let's start with season right now. The flathead spawn is just around the corner. In your area, it might already be there. I don't know.
Some spots above the dam, I believe above the dam they are. A lot of them are. We've got 38 flatheads upriver, and I believe a lot of them were moving in to feed and find their home for nesting. And below the dam, I think they're a little bit longer.
Right.
I don't think they're ready below the dam yet, but I believe they're probably courting would be my guess. I don't know at all.
Probably. So, how do you prepare for a new portion of lake? I mean, a river that you're going to fish up there. You thought, I need to change up something. I'm wearing these holes out. Let's find some new waters. What is the main thing that you rely on to try new waters? Is it your navionics? Is it Google Maps? Is it just knowledge that you've got to learn from the river, or what is your mainstay?
If it's a new river, I'll look at it on Google Earth and see. I just find, I look at it on there, and then you don't ever really know the river until you get there. It looks totally different from Google Earth.
Right.
I have my unit with me, which is a Hummingbird, and I don't care. It could be the cheapest unit. I use it for depth. I want to know where I'm at all times so I don't hit something. And then once I find depth, I just find big turns in the river, trees down. If I see big rocks on the bank, big boulders on the bank, I'm always looking at the bank, because before I had a boat, I'm sorry. Somebody was G's and Pete's. I did everything from the bank. I'd have to look at the bank and decide if that was a good spot to fish or not. I still do the same thing from the boat. I just get to better spots, ledges, drop-offs. I fish an area, it's real shallow, but it's got a main channel of 10 feet. It runs through there. It's just like a channel. It goes for like a mile and a half. And I believe all the big flatheads follow that channel. And then they come up on a shallow shelf and feed. You just got to spend time on the water looking around. You really do. I mean, it stinks to go out there and look around and not fish. But if you just spend a little time looking around and figuring things out, I think it'll help you in the long run. That's just my personal experience. But
well, you hit the nail on the head when you said it takes time on the water.
Yeah.
It does. Now, do you take any type of notes or keep a log, or we got a guy that he's probably watching tonight. He ain't in chat right now, but he's probably watching. It's Matthew Anthony. He's been keeping notes since 2011 of every fish, every day that he's fished, what conditions and everything. Is that something that you do?
Honestly, I started that a long time ago, and then I got lazy with it, and I pretty much just post everything on Facebook as far as when I catch them, and I can look back and see the local water temps, what the water temp was when I caught that fish last year. I can look back at past water temps and all that. I pretty much just know where to fish when the water temp's right, truthfully. I mean, I don't need it. I'm not saying that's bad, because you can pattern them that way. Some guys pattern them that way, but I just go out and fish for them. There
you go. So, you was talking about a little while ago, and I don't mean to keep banging your head. You're talking about mud bottoms, heavy structure, and rocky bottoms. What? There he is. I'm here. Hello, everybody. I knew he was in there. Matthew's in there watching. Thank you, Matthew. What is some of the determining factors that helps you choose whether you're going to go out and chase them on a muddy bottom or chase them on a real heavy structure or a rocky bottom? There's got to be something that helps you determine where you want to make that run to first.
Well, first of the year, I always target the muddy bottoms because I believe that they will lay up in the creek mouths in the mud out of the current to stay warm, the shallow creeks. If it has rock around the mud, that's even better because that structure won't move during the winter once it all ices over. They love rock. And I believe around spawn, like now, if you can get around rock, you'll tear them up. And we have been. Right now, they like to dig holes in between the rocks and the banks. Yeah, I mean, end of the year, they're all over. They're all over. I mean, truthfully, after spawn, you can get them all over the river. But certain times of the year, I know what part of the river to target just because of what they do. Smaller baits first of the year, and they hit like channel cats a lot of times. And I'll get a lot of them at the head of a creek mouth in a foot of water.
Right. Yeah, that was my next question. Is that years ago, Lake Wiley didn't have flatheads or blues. It borders North and South Carolina, and they can't get together. Neither one of them will stock.
Okay.
So actually, the lake got stocked by fishermen and maybe eggs coming down through the dam from an upper lake. With that being said, it used to be nothing but channel cats in there. Well, I'm finding out that a lot of my good old channel cat holes are now flathead holes. I think, to me and Wampus Cats talked about it, I think they've got a lot of mannerisms alike on their feeding patterns and their where they hang out. What do you say?
Well, one part of the river, I know some people say they won't hang together. One part of the river, you'll catch a bunch of channel cats and you'll catch flatheads too. But I have noticed when the flatheads move through, the channel cats scatter. But they feed in the same areas and they like the same areas, shallow. But I got other spots where you won't get a channel cat. It's either a flathead or it's not a flathead. So it just depends on what part of the river it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be smart on a channel cat not to hang out with a flathead because he'll get eat.
Oh, they will eat them.
Yeah, and it's actually a good flathead bait. It really is.
Oh, it is. It is. I've used, but it's been a long time ago, and there's no need to use them now. I mean,
I know. But,
there ain't. I mean, I just throw them back in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, if I want to eat me some, them little old small channels say about that home, salt and pepper up, boy. That's
I wouldn't mind getting the 10 pounders and 12 pounders out of there eating my bluegills, okay?
Yeah.
So, but I don't eat fish, so it ain't going to do me no good. So I'm just saying I'm not going to throw it up on the bank. They go back in the water. So
there you go. Now, before we go too much further, where are you from and what rivers do you normally fish?
I'm from Northwest Ohio, Van Wert, Ohio, and I fish the Maumee a lot. It's in Northwest Ohio. It runs out to Lake Erie, starts in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it runs to Lake Erie. And then I fish the Ohio River. I have some friends down there on the Kanawha and the Polka. So I fish a little bit of everywhere.
Okay. So mainly rivers, no lakes.
No lakes.
Okay. Well, we're going to figure out how we can cross over some of that knowledge to maybe some of these guys that lake fish that might be able to use some of that knowledge as far as the structure and stuff. And like you said, you still rely a lot on river channels.
Yep.
What makes that decision as to search the river channels, the channel edges and stuff over structure?
Well, I think they're used the river channels to feed and to move. Okay. Sure. So if they're feeding and moving, I can rely on my brush piles that are around there. If they're not totally moving and feeding, then they're just a little bit up the river and a little bit deeper water. It's a different brush pile. So you just gotta figure out if they're not moving, they're at the house chilling. So that's the way I look at it. We usually do pretty good. If we don't get them here, we just move up river a little bit and we get them. So
now, you use that same philosophy on all the rivers that you fish?
No, new rivers. I just, I got a 35, 40-minute roll on a spot and fish it and go. And I never really do ever figure new rivers out because I don't have enough time to figure them out. When you only got a day and a half to fish, I mean, you just
No, I'm talking about like you talking about the Ohio and them other rivers. Do you fish all those rivers that you fish using the same techniques and the same philosophy as what you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If you can find the bait fish, you'll find the catfish. That holds true every time. I mean, I've seen them on a sonar unit. I mean, if you're going to be talking about sonar units, if you can find the bait fish, even without the sonar unit, we mark a lot of shad at night with my light on the front of my boat. That helps us find the catfish, find the bait fish, find the catfish.
There you go. We got some more people in here. I love flatheads. That's just their weight. The weight you think that fish gonna weigh 500 pounds, as wide as them big old heads are on them and stuff like that. It's just a majestic beast. It really is, and their markings just amaze me. One you might catch and he'll be a golden yellow and not have any kind of molting on him, and then the next one he looked like he's had acid spotted on him and got white spots on him, and they're just, I don't know, and their fight is just unreal. To me, it's the hunt of that fish.
Yep, me too. Finding them and catching them.
And learning more, getting to learn more about those fish.
Yeah, sometimes they only want one bait, and I try to bring 3 baits to the river. I'm kid you not. There's some days they are picky. I don't care. You're going to get them to eat a bluegill. They don't want a bluegill, and they want shad. And that's just hands down. I ask all my other fishing buddies. They didn't get nothing. We're using shad. No, well, I got them all on shad. You know, some days they're just picky.
Right. Now, that's what I was going to say. So your 3 mainstays is bluegill, shad, and what?
Bluegill, shad, and bluegill. You know, that's all I use is bluegill and shad. And it's cut shad. It's I have a lot of success on my bigger flatheads on cut shad here, but you know, it depends where you're fishing in the river too. I catch a lot on cut shad. We go out and catch them with a cast net, keep them on ice, and fish with them. We catch it's 50-50 between the bluegills. I mean, they'll eat either or.
Right, and see, that's what blows a lot of people's mind. Like Lyle from Catfish Weekly. Everywhere he fishes, mainly, he does best with live baits. Here, down here in North Carolina, we catch probably 90% of our flatheads are coming on cut bait. We will actually, there's times that we'll actually catch more blues on live bait than we will our flatheads.
Yeah. Well, I had 150 hand-sized bluegills, and I've taken them out each past few trips, and they won't hit a bluegill. I couldn't pay them to hit a bluegill. They want shad.
Really?
I'm kid you not. And I put it right in front of their face. I've seen them, marked them, dropped it. They won't hit it. Throw a shad down there, it's over with.
That'd be dang.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
You would think if it's alive and it's wiggling, you put it in front of his face, you would think that flathead would suck it in and not even think twice about it.
You would think, but no, they're picky.
Do me a favor, next time you go out, carry you 1 bucket of night crawlers.
Okay.
And when that fish is being picky like that, load you a hook up with a 10 or 12 of them big old night crawlers and drop it down and tell me what happens.
That'd be a good way to find out. My brother did that when we were fishing years ago, and he had a little pole, and he threw it out with a bunch of night crawlers, and whatever it was broke his pole. And I think it was a flathead that come along and smacked that rod with the night crawlers and just broke his rod, drug it through the grass. And I was like,
now, I know night crawlers do great during flood times and the waters are washing out of the creeks and stuff, out of the farmlands. It's washing all them bugs and worms and stuff. Because I've heard of so many people talking about fishing those little things that goes up into the farmlands and using up but night crawlers, the fish will be loaded. Their bellies would be slammed full of worms and stuff from them eating them. I know that that's the time that bait works real well. Now, yeah, you got to beat the dinks off of them. That's the only downside with using a bait like that. But I think there's times I've heard so many guys talk about in these fish tournaments, these catfish tournaments and stuff, Man, I sat on top of these fish. I followed them around. I could see them on my depth finder. I had all different kind of baits, live bait, cut bait. And I've had it happen to me too. But I couldn't get them to hit. I said, did you drop a wad of night crawlers on them? I didn't have night crawlers with me. I said, well, duh.
Right.
That's something that fish has eaten since the first time he eat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He knows what it smells like. He knows what it tastes like. So don't leave home without them. Kind of way I look at it. Don't leave home without them. All right, we at the midway point, Mr. Paul. I need a funny fishing story from you. We're going to give away one of the large floats, and we're going to talk a little bit about floats after this story. Uh-oh, we lost you. We have no sound.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
Okay. Before I had a boat, a buddy of mine, we were fishing around these islands, and he said, I'm going to drop you off on this island. You're going to fish this. I'll drop you off with some shad, and we're going to go up here and fish. I'm like, cool. And he drops me off, and it's getting about dark, and I'm sitting there, and I kept hearing noises in the woods. And long story short, man, a bunch of baby raccoons smelled the shad, and they were coming towards me, and Mama was hissing. She was chasing them, chasing me. I'm running around on this island from these. I don't have a gun, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to shoot them. So I didn't know what to do. So I just started throwing my shad at them, And
Right.
before you know it was interesting. All they were was hungry. So I was probably like a big sissy running around that island.
They found somebody that would feed them.
I feed them now.
Oh, yeah.
That's about as funny as it gets. Besides my buddy Ernie stepping off the boat into 45-degree water, missed the island and went under the water. And fished on that.
Do you have your finger over your mic holding your phone?
No.
Maybe it's a bad spot. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you good now. It's like you was holding your finger over top of it. Lance says, always have worms and leeches on hand when I'm on the river. I didn't even think about leeches. I'm sure leeches will work good too.
Yeah.
So do you catch the majority of your flatheads on live bait or on cut bait?
50-50.
About 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna reach in this thing. I'm spinning names right now. We're gonna reach in there and see who's gonna come out with a set of floats. Mr. Matthew Anthony. Mr. Matthew Anthony, give me a call. You got my number. We'll hook up, and I got a float for you, my friend. I got something else for you too. I've been meaning to give you. So thank you, Matthew, for supporting our channel and coming in here. And I'll tell you what, let's do another spin and let's give a set of small floats away in chat. Because we having a good show, don't you think, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
Fins and fines. Fins and fines. Contact me, message me, send me your name, your real name, your mailing address, my friend, and we'll get a set of good floats out there to you. All right. We had a funny story. We give away some floats. Now, let's get back to tools. Do you consider rod, reels, hooks, weights, floats, and stuff as a tool?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have them to catch the fish.
You think that learning that tool will actually help you be more successful?
On how to use it right and correctly, yeah.
Okay. I appreciate all the videos and the pictures that you've sent me. I appreciate you showing the world what a float can do for catfishing. Me and you talked before the show. We think that there's a misconception that all fish have to be caught off the bottom. And you're one of the people that showed that that's just not true.
All right.
You mind sharing some of your experiences that you found using a float? And not necessarily my float, guys. There's a lot of other floats out there on the market. I'm not promoting my float right now. Paul uses my floats. I appreciate it 100%. I just want you to take and get another tool in your toolbox so you can be successful at catching fish. So run with it and explain a little bit how you use them and why you use them in that circumstances.
Sometimes I can't get a catfish to bite on the bottom, and sometimes the catfish are feeding ahead of me. I can see big swirls in the water, and I know it's a flathead, and they're chasing bait up on a shelf. So the bobber's handy because I can put a bluegill on there and let him swim. You can weight him or not weight him. You can set your depth. If I already drove my boat over, I know what the depth is. I just let the bluegill do the work. Or shad works good too. You can use cut bait on that. We've had that. I'll throw it, say I'm fishing below an island. There's a current seam there. I'll fish the current seam, the slack water with it. And usually by that slack water is a big tree. So this bobber's just hanging out there. It gets hit every time by flatheads. We've caught a whole bunch of flatheads on it. Bluegill's awesome because I throw him the farthest past all my rods, and I let him just swim around out there. You can't tell me that big flathead ain't going to come along in 6 feet of water and smash that bluegill when he's just swimming around. He has no clue. He's just out there prancing, swimming around. You can see the bobber, and it just that bobber works great. I'm always going to have it on my boat. Even in fast water, eddies. We've used them in eddies. If you're going to put them down in 10 feet of water, I usually weight them a little bit, just a little bit of weight to get him down there and keep him down there. But I mean, you can use live or cut. They both worked well, you know.
Now you're suspending baits. Now, what are you trying to do? You're looking at your graph and you're seeing some of these fish being suspended. Does that help you determine at how deep you're setting your baits?
Well, if I drive over to, say, 10 feet of water and there's a tree down there and it looks on my graph like, hey, you know, there's a branch hanging up and it's about 8 feet, you know, I'll just set it a few feet above that branch to start with, and I'll let him work around there. And my philosophy is he'll come up 3 or 4 feet to get that bait if he wants it. And I just pretty much drive over it, see what I'm working with, and then adjust my bobber stop to whatever I think and chuck him out there. And usually gets 8.
Right. Paul knows his flatheads. They come from Mark catfishing crappie. He said he's got to go. He's got a sick wife. Yeah, Mark, appreciate you coming in here. Go take care of your wife, buddy. Y'all know I've been pampering my wife, trying to pass kidney stones, and I appreciate all the prayers from all of you. I've got a couple of different people. You see, Junior Proctor was in here tonight. Of course, you can't see Chad. I'm sorry. Junior Proctor's in here tonight. He uses the bobber's dragon. When he's trolling, he puts out his boards, and then he puts the float straight out back on real long lines behind his bobbers. That's something you could probably do in the river if you're not even trolling, but just letting the river carry your baits down. I don't know. You know, I don't have rivers to fish to learn whether you could or you couldn't. You might lose them. I don't know. Now, he's got 2 different techniques. Now, he's fishing in the river section. What he's doing, and I meant to bring me one. I need to put it in my pocket. I'm starting to make the caps that go on these bobbers with planer board clips on them.
Okay.
And I'm going to start selling them separate from the bobbers. Otherwise, you probably said, hey, James, I want a set of tops. They'll come with light, just like whatever color light you want to use in your float. And they come with a set of planer board clips on them. What he does, instead of putting behind the clip on a planer board clip, he puts it in front of it. And what he'll do is let the river drag that. He'll let the boat and river drag his bait down to a, say, structure that he's wanting to fish. And then he'll pop that line. And what he does is release the float from the line. The float's still on there. It'll still slide up and down, but he's no longer using the float. He's allowing that float just to place his bait where he wants it, further than what he can cast.
Okay. I just get anchored up on it. Me, myself, I just go over and anchor up on her, get close to it, and throw it out there. I wouldn't do that. It wouldn't work good for me. I mean, okay, I can't say it wouldn't work good for me. It just seems like I'd mess that up.
Right.
It'd be easier for me just to nose on over, anchor up, throw the bobber down. I mean, I don't troll. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm a anchor up, throw down type of guy.
Well,
it sounds like it worked great, especially for guys that are trolling. I mean, I just don't troll.
Right. And I mean, I was just throwing up some, for instance, that these tools can be used in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're talking about using them in eddies. Now, when you find you a back eddy that you can throw in there, do you allow that float to float around and be drug around inside that eddy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I got a couple guys that use them over top of river channels where they see suspended fish. They'll float that bait at that level that those fish are suspended on river channels. What's the other one? Oh, one of them, he actually uses them to find deeper holes by allowing that bobber dragging. And then when it stands up, good, he knows his bait dropped off into a little ignition, because some of the rivers that he's fishing, there is no navionics. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it changes. So he helps it use to find holes or spots that you wouldn't maybe not see on your navionics or your graph. Are there any other tools that you can think of that you use to catch catfish that we don't see too many people doing?
Well, around here, I see a lot of people using demon dragons, and I can tell you this, that when there's current out there, a little bit of current, pull with a demon dragon will get hit before a pull with not a demon dragon 9 times out of 10. I think it's just the noise. That's all it is. You know, attracts them. They come down, they hit it. I mean, that's a little tool. Sometimes I'll use a float, you know, just above my hook, just to get it off the bottom a little bit. If you're fishing a lot of structure, you know, I'll use a float just to keep it up. I'll have a little longer leader. There's so much that goes into it. Really, there is. Just the way you fish each spot to be the most successful. I don't know.
Oh, Paul, the reason I was asking this about the floats, and I'll get off the floats here in a second, is that I've had a lot of people say they're having trouble getting hookups with using a float. Do you have any advice for them for that?
My philosophy is if he grabs what's on that float, he's going to take it regardless. He's hungry and he wants it. So I wait till he takes the float under the water completely. And sometimes halftime I'm not paying attention and he's been under the water for a little bit. I just start reeling down. I use Whisker Seeker triple threat, and I just start reeling down on him. As soon as the bobber's under the water, I'll get my line, because all the time I got slack in my line because I'm not paying attention. I'll get that slack out and I'll reel down on him. He's there. And after I reel down on him, I feel him. I go ahead and set the hook again just to reassure. And yeah, unless you're just trying to set the hook too soon or something like that, I don't really know.
I think that's the problem. I think you get that, you know, like brim fishing. When that bobber goes under, you snatch it, you know, and, you know, I think that's the problem, is they're not allowing all the slack to get out of their line before they try to put the hook in that many.
The way I look at it is if you treat it like you're running a tight line, say you're tight lining on the bottom and you've got your clicker going. If it's a big bait, let him run longer with it, which means that you use the same concept with a bobber. That's right. The way I do it.
Right. Somebody in here had a question. What colors do you prefer for your floats? And I don't know if they're talking about above water or below water.
Below water, like you're talking about my Demon Dragons, it don't matter. I don't have a favorite color. I usually get the variety pack. I think it has nothing. I mean, this is me. I don't know. It could. I don't think it has anything to do with the color. I think it's more the noise than anything else. And once he comes close to noise, he'll see the bait and he'll take the bait. As far as a float on top, I don't really have a preference. Whatever works. I'm more worried about the light, something bright. And he has some really cool pink lights. Get a float. The Ghost float are awesome. They're the best float I've ever seen. The whole float lights up. I've never seen anything like it. And get the pink light. You'll see that thing a mile away. You can just keep feeding line. Let that thing go down the river. Keep feeding line. And
it amazed me. When we ordered midnight, I got the wife. I found some hot pink floats when I first started making, pool noodles. And I thought, I'll be able to sell this hot pink. but it wasn't a good made pool noodle. You know what I'm saying? It was that open sailed. It looked good, but it really wasn't feasible. And I got the wife, I said, go online, find me some pink floats, pink pool noodles, so I can make some pinks for the ladies. Well, when they showed up, when 20 of them things showed up, they was Barbie pink. I thought, oh my God, I'll never be able to sell these things. I'll have to give them away to the ladies, to the chick fight tournaments and stuff, which I still will. And I'll still market them for like breast cancer awareness week and stuff like that. But that is one of my, besides the green, that is my hottest seller is the pink. But that pink light, like you just said, something about that pink light, it stands out like a sore thumb.
It looks good. You can see it. The thing I like about your float, even my buddy Ernie said, the whole float lights up. Your ghost float, I mean, you can see the whole float. That's nothing I've ever seen before. So you're not gonna. You can look up real quick and you can automatically see. You ain't got to say. You ain't got to look real hard to find a little light. The whole float lights up. It's awesome.
And they're tough. I made them strong. You can beat the crap out of them. You ain't gonna tear them up.
Right. Right.
And if you do tear them up, guys and gals, and I'll get off my floats because I ain't here to promote them. If you tear up the pool noodle, just take your pocket knife and cut that old pool noodle off of it. Put your little bit of glue on it. I use E6000 glue. That's a waterproof. It's a waterproof adhesive. Squirt your little E6000 plus it's clear. Slide you another pool noodle on it. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. You can keep that float for a lifetime.
Yep.
Now, what do you think? I know you said you're not a lake fisherman. I'm a lake fisherman. All right. The demon dragons is something that I can carry over, especially when we're dragging baits. Because to me, dragging baits ain't much different than river fishing. You're just covering water. In river fishing, you're anchored up and the water's moving past you. But you're still looking for structure. You're still looking for river channels. You're still looking for deep holes or shallow holes, shallow flats. When do you start chasing the flathead catfish up in shallow flats?
I have luck when it's warm because I learned a lot of times the shad, at least where I go, the flatheads will run the shad up in 2 feet of water, billions of shad, and we've seen it. We've lit them up. I can't answer that. It depends on the weather. It depends on the location. I could say one thing holds true when they say the wind blows the bait fish. If the wind is blowing it into your east bank, fish your east bank. Oh, real quick, I want to tell you something where this is coming handy. The wind always will blow the bait fish in. That flathead I posted the other day, that wind was blowing. It blew all the bait fish on that bank. And where your bobber will come in handy is sometimes when it's really windy and it's blowing, you're thinking, I can't fish that. No, you can. What you do is you anchor up, get it as tight as you can, and put it on a float, and let the wind blow that float into that bank where all that bait is, and then flatheads. You gotta, and that works out great like that. I've caught a flathead like that. I made a video. I wasn't going to post it because it shows where I was at, but the float works good for that too. Just the wind can do wonders for you. It'll blow all the bait fish, and the flatheads will be right there. So.
And it can blow your bait right to where it needs to be put, don't it?
Yeah.
So I learned that a long time ago. I hate to fish in the wind, man. It drives me crazy. And one day we was out there fishing a buddy of mine's daddy's 2 ponds. He had a little dam in between 2 ponds. That's where we catch you big old double pin size, them hybrid bluegill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, you talking about some good eating. But the wind was blowing in our faces, man. I was getting aggravated, and I pulled out a little bitty rapala. You know, them little bitty minnow, little rapalas. And I was flicking it down that bank that the wind was blowing against. And son, Katie barred the doors. It was on then, son. We was wearing out them big bluegill. And that was the first time that I'd ever caught a 6+ pound largemouth bass on 2-pound line.
That's awesome.
So I learned that the wind can be your friend.
It can. It blows. It really does blow the bait fish in. And yep, you just learn
Well, anything else you think that we haven't covered on chasing the flathead catfish, or some knowledge that you have learned over the years about the flathead?
If the water temp's good and you're not getting a bite after 45 minutes and you can move, I'd move. A lot of times we move to the flathead. We don't wait for him to come to us. We move because sometimes they're not always feeding and moving, so we just bump spots. 45 minutes pull and roll works for us sometimes, most time.
Okay. Do you think that the older flathead catfish, I'm going to say 50 pound and above, then maybe it might be lower than that, I don't know. But do you think those older fish become a resident fish? Do you think they find their homes and they stay?
I know they do. I mean, I know of a handful of fish that do, yeah.
Okay. And these are fish that we talked before the show. You know they're there, when they're going to be there, and they're just about there anytime you go, except wintertime. Maybe wintertime their places change a little bit.
Yeah.
But do you think they go far from their homes?
No, they just go right down the river, down to the next deep hole. And there's always plenty of current. There's always plenty of current, so it never really freezes, and it's close to base, so there's no reason for them to go anywhere else. They're all the abundance of shad is right there. Their holes are right there. I mean, it's there's flatheads that come back to the same hole every year, unless a bigger flathead runs him out.
Right. Yeah. Now, water temperature. Does water temperature in your mind, does water temperature play a big reason? Reason ain't the right word. Do you think that water temperature plays a big role in where you're going to fish for the flathead?
Yeah, see, our water is really shallow. Our deepest hole, our average water we fish is like 6-7 feet of water. So if you get a big cold front, that will affect that shallow water, and it'll affect the flathead. So most definitely, it determines I'm downsizing bay, and they still, you got to go find them. Water temperature is everything. If there's a big drop, like 9 degrees drop, so a lot of people go after them. I still go after them. I just downsize my bait, and it's still tough. It's tough in shallow water. Our deepest hole is 15 feet, and it's not real big. Average depth 6-7 feet of water. So.
Is that in all the lakes all the rivers that you fish? It's like that.
Yeah, I make passes through 2.5 feet of water for miles. I mean, with boulders and rocks, and yeah, it's not a typical river. It's not like the Ohio River. It's the Muddy Maumee.
Right. But now you say you fished the Ohio River, right?
Yeah, I have fished that a few times.
Okay, so you mainly stay on that one river.
Well, depends. I mean, depends what year it is. Last year, I traveled down to West Virginia probably 15 times. I've been down there. I mean, but I like
change up anything the way you was chasing the flatheads to go to that water.
No, I just found that there's more trees and more sharp bends down south that I just use the same techniques here as I did down there.
Okay. And that's kind of what I was leaning towards. Was there anything that you had to change up when you went to a different style of lake? Like you said, it had more structure, more bends and stuff in there. Was there, that's why I was asking, was there anything that forced you to change the way you was chasing them when you went to that different type of river water? Because I'm sure it was deeper water too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot deeper water. I had to spool up my reels, a little bit more with more string. But one thing's for certain is you just always have to make sure you have fresh bait. I brought my own bait, and they always want fresh bait. So I say that's a big, we need to make sure you do that when you go somewhere. Just catch fresh bait. Fresh is always better. Always better.
Now, a little while ago, you was talking about the cold fronts might force you to downsize. Do you think that them cold fronts and them cold snaps, like there are cool snaps, when you say it forces you to downsize, does it force you also to go from cut bait to live bait or live bait to cut bait?
Well, I go to cut bait. I don't ever really use live bait on a cold front. I mean, but the last cold front was crazy. They were smashing big baits, so they shocked me. The only reason I can think what that is because it wasn't like it's been cold and we got a colder front. No, it's been warm. The water's been warm. It just got a little chilly at night and it turned them on. So it totally did the opposite. I found out they were taking small pieces, so I started throwing hand-sized chunks. I'm like, y'all want to eat? And I caught a lot of them flatheads on big head pieces, 12, 14-inch shad.
Dang right. Oh, that's a big shad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they take one of them 14, 16-inch shad heads down, you get ready to get your string pulled.
Yep.
Well, we get close to our hour mark, my friend. Anything let them know where they can find you on social media.
Okay. Well, I got a web page. It's just a personal page for me and the family, and friends. You can add it up. It's Mud Cats at Muddy River Cats. It's just I post all my fish pictures there and stuff. That way, you can like that page.
That's Mud Cats on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a personal page. I post pictures and videos and stuff too. It's nothing fancy.
Right. Now there's a lot of us in here, like Lyle and me, we love seeing family time on the water. To me, that's just, that's keeping it real, guys. It's, we all know that we chase fish with each other and stuff, but seeing family out there enjoying catching fish, just enjoying the water is, to me, it's heartwarming. I get to see your kids grow up on the water fishing with daddy and stuff. I love that stuff. So guys and gals, go check him out. Share him some love up, and I promise you won't be disappointed at the flatheads you get to see and the videos. One question: what's your largest flathead?
55.
I know 55 was the first one.
That's the biggest I've ever caught, and I can't beat it. And I don't care how much I fish and how much I try to fish, I cannot beat it. I really would love to beat that, but that set the bar high.
Yeah, it did.
It's tough.
That's like going out and shooting a 14-point buck.
I know I can't beat it.
You might as well find another hobby.
No, I know. I'm happy with 30s and 40s. I'm happy with that.
Oh, they good fighting fish. They fun. It's you set the bar real high with that 55.
I know. I got luck like that sometimes.
Oh, what is y'all state record there? Flathead.
I think 76 and some change or something like that. That's a big fish.
That's a big old fish.
I know there's some 60
caught in the river or in a lake.
That was caught, and I think that was caught in a lake down in I maybe saw Tappan. I don't know, somewhere down around Seneca, Tappan, somewhere down there. I think somewhere down there at one of them lakes. I'm not sure, down around Zanesville, Ohio.
Right. Now, did that 55 come out of the same river you fished?
Oh yeah.
And
a buddy of mine sat not too far from that, and he said he sat there and watched 2 50-pound fish feed on shad all night long. And I can't tell any more to that.
Right.
They fed for 5 hours straight. He said he has videos of these big flatheads coming in there and just smashing shad. And he said he was throwing bluegills out there on top of them. And he said they would not eat my bluegill. He said they were just mauling that shad. He said I was so mad.
Oh, we got Richard Cluck in here. He's brand new. Richard, this is the man that loves using my floats. Richard just got an order sent to him today, Paul. They in the mail headed his direction right now. But thank you for coming in, Richard. I hope you enjoy the show. If you're just getting in, my friend, go back and watch it. A lot of great information. Paul, I enjoyed having you here tonight.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's good talking.
If you ever go out on a Wednesday night catfishing, and if you're planning a little bit ahead of time or whatever, call me.
Okay.
And if you got a decent signal, I'd like to bring you in one night while you out there smashing them flatheads on the boat.
Okay. All right.
Or even on the weekend, one weekend you're going to be out and you're going to get on them pretty good. But I would drop in and do a quick show with you one night and just bring you in and let these good guys and gals check out a flathead fisherman out there doing this stuff. If you don't mind bringing us on the boat with you, you can point it downward where we can't see your surroundings.
No, I'm to the point, really truthfully, I mean, I'm to the point where I'm not worried about spots anymore because most of the guys back home, they catch and release, and that's an awesome thing. And so I'm not really too much worried anymore. There's flatheads all over that river, but I'll keep you in mind when they're biting real good. Yeah, that'd be all right.
Okay. Well, Paul, I thank you for coming in. Don't forget, guys and gals, Country Boy Fishing is going to be on next right after this show. And if you want a bottle made, sure, you contact me so we can get them out to you. Paul, I'll be talking to you soon. Don't run off. I'm getting ready to just cut it off live. I'll holler at you in just a second. So give me a second.
All right. Okay.
Good night, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for coming in and supporting Patriot James and Paul. We'll see y'all next Wednesday night. Oh, actually, we'll see you Monday night on Catfish Weekly. Good night.